Welcome to the Explainer. So today we are looking at a highly rewarding but honestly pretty complex journey, and that is becoming a fully licensed physiotherapist in Canada. Whether you're a local student mapping out your university career or an internationally trained professional looking to bring your much-needed skills to the Canadian healthcare system, this process can feel a bit like a giant maze. But trust me, it is a maze worth navigating because Canada needs skilled professionals now more than ever. So don't worry, we're going to clear all of that up for you right now. Let's dive straight into this roadmap and completely demystify the exact steps you need to take. Here is our roadmap for today. We are breaking this bureaucratic process down into 5 very manageable stages: the Canadian physiotherapy landscape, mapping educational foundations, the credentialing process, passing the PCE, and finally, licensing and financial considerations. Let's get started. Stage 1, the Canadian physiotherapy landscape. Okay, so right off the bat, we need to clarify a crucial difference in education and responsibility between a fully licensed physiotherapist and a physiotherapist assistant. To be a PT in Canada, you're aiming for a master's level education, a really rigorous national exam, and provincial licensing for a highly autonomous role. Now, alternatively, a physiotherapist assistant, or PTA, offers a completely different entry point. That's usually through a diploma program, and they work directly under a licensed PT's supervision. Both roles are absolutely vital to patient care for sure, but in this explainer, we are focusing exclusively on the intensive pathway to becoming a fully licensed PT.
Moving right along to stage 2, mapping educational foundations.
The actual path you take here depends entirely on where you earned your degree. For domestic Canadian students, the path is pretty straightforward, though it is long. We're talking a 4-year bachelor's degree, which is typically in kinesiology or health sciences, followed by a 2-year professional master's degree at one of 15 accredited schools. But if you're an international graduate, you face a slightly different reality. You have to get your education formally assessed by the Canadian Alliance of Physiotherapy Regulators, also known as CAP. They act as the ultimate gatekeepers here, ensuring that your international education perfectly matches Canadian entry to practice standards.
Which brings us to stage 3 for our international folks, the credentialing process. To actually succeed in CAPR's standard credentialing pathway, you must strictly meet 5 specific criteria. Seriously, think of these as a series of locked gates. You literally cannot move forward until you successfully unlock every single one of them. The gates are valid documents, university-level education, supervised clinical practice, language fluency, and knowledge of Canadian practice. Let's break down exactly what they are looking for.
Listen, for criteria 1 and 2, it is absolutely crucial to understand that your paperwork has to be flawless. CAPR pulls absolutely zero punches here. You must submit your university transcripts and proof of your home country license, and if they find any document to be irregular or fraudulent, your application is immediately closed. No exceptions. Plus, your education has to be at the university level. If you hold a diploma from a non-university institution, they will only accept it if they determine it equals a Canadian bachelor's degree. Now, criterion 3 is where things get really intense. You need a massive 1,025 hours of supervised clinical practice. To put that into perspective for a second, that is roughly 6 straight months of working a full-time job. And it's not just about the total time either. It's about highly targeted experience. Within those hours, you absolutely must have a minimum of 100 hours dealing with musculoskeletal conditions, 100 hours in neurological conditions, and 40 hours in cardiorespiratory conditions. This exactly mirrors the minimums for Canadian students, ensuring you've got hands-on experience in the precise areas the system demands. Moving on to criterion 4, you've got to prove your English or French fluency. Communication is obviously critical in healthcare, so CAPR requires a language test from the last 2 years, like the IELTS or CELBAN, before they even start your assessment. However, you do get an automatic exemption from this if your entire physiotherapy education, we're talking both the classroom and the clinical components, was completed in Australia, France, New Zealand, the Republic of Ireland, the UK, or the US. And finally, to satisfy criterion 5, you have to pass a pre-approved online course from institutions like the University of Toronto or the University of Alberta. Honestly, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. You can't practice effectively if you don't understand the specific healthcare system you're working inside of. These courses teach you all about the role of PTs in Canada. And the really great news here is you can actually start these online courses before you even officially apply for credentialing. All right, stage 4, passing the PCE. So once credentialing is wrapped up, both domestic and international candidates face the exact same challenge: the Physiotherapy Competency Examination, or PCE. This national exam is the great equalizer. Whether you studied in Toronto or Tokyo, you have to prove your competency right here. The PCE is distinctly split into two halves. You'll tackle the written exam first, and only after you successfully conquer that written hurdle are you even allowed to attempt the clinical portion, officially known as the CPTE.
And finally, Stage 5, licensing and financial considerations.
Okay, so physiotherapy is regulated at the provincial and territorial level in Canada, meaning you register exactly where you intend to live and work. But here is a fantastic silver lining. Because the exam process can take a while, many provinces actually allow you to work under supervision while you wait for your results. You work as a resident or intern physiotherapist. This is huge. It allows you to actually earn an income, gain local Canadian experience, and integrate into a clinic environment, all under the guidance of a fully licensed PT. Now, we really need to talk about the costs, and honestly, this might make your wallet wince a bit. Tuition for international students studying in Canada can reach up to 95,000 Canadian dollars. That is a staggering number, right? It's absolutely essential to be realistic about the financial commitment if you are planning to come to Canada as an international student to complete that master's degree. And the regulatory fees really stack up too. Just the written component of the PCE alone is going to cost you roughly 972 Canadian dollars. When you start factoring in the credentialing fees to CAP, the clinical exam fees, language testing, and your provincial registration, the administrative costs of just proving your competence are definitely significant. But don't panic, because there is actually a lot of help available. Organizations like Windmill Microlending specifically step in to offer loans to internationally trained professionals just to help bridge these exact financial gaps. Plus, joining the Canadian Physiotherapy Association gives you access to a wealth of resources, including an incredible 50% discount on your essential professional liability insurance during that critical first year of practice. So you aren't in this alone. So, looking at everything we've mapped out in this explainer today, the only question left is when you're going to begin your own journey. We've seen that the road requires serious dedication, flawless paperwork, and a good bit of financial planning. But it leads to a highly respected, autonomous, and incredibly in-demand career. Whether your next step is applying to a master's program or gathering up your clinical hours for CAP, the path is there. Yes, the bureaucratic maze is intentionally difficult. It has to be to protect patient care. But it leaves us with one final thought. Are you ready to step up, prove you have what it takes, and shape the future of Canadian healthcare? Keep learning, and we'll see you next time.